Tēnā koutou katoa, kia ora and welcome to another Manawanui live stream. My name is Simon and today I am joined by our Chief Operating Officer or COO, Alan Campbell. Today it is the final live stream for 2025. Apologies, no fancy Christmas hats or festive wear, but just know that we are very much excited for the holiday break and we hope you all will have some time with your families over the next few weeks to enjoy some warm weather. But before that break happens, we have a live stream to get through. So I will hand it over to Alan to say hello and to share some updates. Kia ora.
Kia ora, Alan speaking. Kia ora koutou, Manawanui whānau. It's so nice to be here. And I hope we get some good questions later on in the comments so we can have a bit of an exchange. I did want to just go through a few highlights of the year that's been. Obviously, we don't have time to go through all of them, but particularly want to mention the changes that were announced earlier this year by DSS. The wonderful news that they are removing the purchasing guidelines on 1 April and they're moving towards plan-based spending. So spending according to an individual's plan and goals and needs rather than rule-based spending, which none of us have enjoyed a great deal over the last almost 2 years now. So that's, that's really positive news that came out this year. And we're all looking forward to finding out a bit more about how that will work and what will be allowed. Another highlight for this year, we increased the Fund for Good total amount. We increased it to $50,000, which means that this year we were able to award funds to more of our customers to pursue their dreams, which was really exciting for all of us. Also, the Waikaha published their National Disability Strategy for 2026 to 2030. Last week, some of you might have seen on the live stream, Simon interviewed Ben O'Meara from Waikaha. So you can look back or watch that if you have an interest in understanding that strategy a bit more. I also wanted to talk about some of the, anticipated highlights for 2026. Obviously, for our DSS customers, we've got changes coming. We can see that the intent is really positive and aligned with flexibility. We're looking forward to helping our customers to navigate and adapt to the changes as they occur and as more detail becomes available. What DSS have told us so far is what's on their website. So we do recommend keeping an eye on their website. That is the main source of information. But while they're working through the detail and until they put more detail on their website, what we as Manawanui are focusing on is communicating to DSS what our questions are and what type of questions we're getting from our customers. And what we hope is that that will allow DSS to answer some of those questions before the changes are actually made, so that there's more clarity from the outset about what is expected of customers and what they will, where the freedom comes in, which we're all looking forward to. We know that with any change, there is going to be a period of uncertainty. Even no matter how good, how clear their guidance developed before changes, there'll still be specific individual questions that need to be asked and answered. So just want to let you all know that if you have questions, we are committed to supporting you to get answers to those questions. And we'll be working with DSS and the NASCs to make sure that there is as much clarity as soon as possible. And of course, we will share information as soon as we receive it with all of you. And one of the things that we have also been thinking about is, and particularly given changes coming up, but based on feedback that we've received as well, is how can we make our coaches more available to our customers? So at the moment, you can all get support from a coach just by asking for it. But we know that some people don't ask for it and they would actually appreciate a chance to talk with a coach. So next year, we're going to be setting up a schedule of Manawanui drop-in days. They'll be based at locations in each region. And it will occur sort of on a regular schedule several times a year. So you'll have that, I guess, the knowledge that you will be able to access a coach in person on one of those days or multiple of those days, depending on how much support you need or how many questions you have. And there'll be drop-ins because we know that the day doesn't always go to plan. So the idea is that you'll just be able to arrive whenever you can during that day, and it means that there might be other customers around, but the coaches will support you as best they can throughout that day. We'd really like some feedback from all of you on how we can make our coaches more accessible to you. So that's one of the things that we're going to be introducing next year, but we'd also like some feedback on how we make portal training available to you as well. So in the final newsletter for the year, which will be coming out at the end of the week, we have got a survey in there. I promise it's a very short survey. We would really appreciate it if you could take 3 minutes to just answer the brief questions in that survey. It will really help to let us know how we can make the most of our coaches' time to provide support, particularly to those of you who might not have already accessed it, recently accessed it. So that's what we're looking forward to next year.
Simon speaking. Thank you very much, Ellen. A couple of questions here. Alex's first one, he says, "Hey Ellen, how will plan-based funding be implemented at Manawanui?"
At Manawanui, we the plans currently the information that we've received from DSS is that the plans themselves will be developed with the NASC. So as part of the NASC assessment, each person will develop a plan, and that plan will be provided to the host, and then the host will essentially be supporting the person to spend according to that plan. In terms of how we implement it, it's because we don't really have a lot of detail yet, it's hard to say what would be different. But what we're kind of working on right now is that because it won't be rule-based purchasing approvals or claim approvals, it will be more goal-based. So it'll be according to individual needs. We're expecting that we and you will have more freedom to kind of identify the things that support you best, so that as long as you're staying within your budget and you're looking for things that are disability support related, that you will have a bit more flexibility. But with that proviso, we are waiting for confirmation from DSS of any changes in detail.
Simon speaking. Thank you, Ellen. And then a couple comments here from Ashley around the coaching and portal training. Ashley, the first one is, I think a coach to be assigned to families individually, it's so much easier to have one person to go to for consistency.
Ellen speaking. We have had some feedback on that. One of the things that we're aware of is that having one person means that sometimes you don't have anyone because that one person is on leave or unavailable. But if there is a coach that you have worked with that has supported you, for instance, during your onboarding, you are very welcome to ask us if that person is available to support you again. And if they are, then we will absolutely check if they have the capacity. If they don't have the capacity or if they're unavailable, we're really lucky our coaches stay with us for a long time. We do actually have some coaches who've been with us for a very long time, so we don't have too much staff change in that space. But it does happen. For some of you, if you onboarded 5 years ago, that coach might not still be with us, but we'll do our best to find you a good match.
Simon speaking. Thanks, Ellen. And then Ashley's second comment was around the workshop. She said a workshop day for portal training would be ideal.
That's a great suggestion.
Yeah, Simon speaking. Yeah, so I mean, the topics of support that a coach can provide on those drop-in sessions can range from budgeting, recruitment, support, any sort of realm of what it means to manage IF. But I imagine a lot of the time and support that a coach would provide in those sessions would be around navigating the portal and making sure you're getting the most out of it. So yeah. Tracy has a question. She says, what will the fee be for a drop-in visit for a coach?
We're planning on making them free.
Yeah, Simon speaking. So the idea so far would be that instead of having one network meeting in every region, and if you're say in I don't know what's a good example, Warkworth, the network meeting for Auckland is either in Albany or over the bridge, and it's quite a long way to drive. The idea is that these drop-in sessions will be spread out across a region, so that those people who aren't in a main town will be able to have access to in-person support, which has been feedback we've received around the network meetings in previous years, is that we're only visiting the sort of main city centres within a region, and that some people, especially in larger regions like the Canterbury region or Otago Southland, they have to travel quite far. So yeah, hopefully we will make it a lot easier as well for people to actually visit and not need to spend a whole day driving just to get to a meeting. Terry has a comment. I had Angela to help me with answers about how to better use my funding, and she was amazing, very helpful and genuine. She was so refreshing to talk to.
Ellen speaking.
Oh, sorry.
That is just really lovely to hear. We always love to hear when our staff have done a great job, as well as when we have feedback on how they could do better. So thank you for that feedback.
Simon speaking. Thank you, Ellen. Apologies, I'm never quite sure how to pronounce this name. I've seen your comment before, but Lourdes, Lourdes, has a question. Has there been a deadline set for signing the new service agreement? When I signed ours in early October, I noted there's no more signatory on the Manawanui side. Why is that?
Ellen
So two
speaking.
questions there. Sorry.
Yep, two questions there. I'll answer the second question first, actually. So the service agreement is actually not an individually negotiable document. So what we identified is that having a Manawanui signatory, I guess, makes it look like it's a contract that's changeable. And the things that are in the service agreement are actually the kinds of things that most organisations would put in terms of service. So it's things that are actually quite fixed. So we try to be flexible and to support people in the way that suits them as best we can. But the things in the service agreement are actually things that are essentially defined for us by law or by our contracts with your funders about how we need to operate and what our responsibilities are as an IF host. So that's why we decided that actually a Manawanui signatory is not needed, because it's our agreement. We've written it based on all of the inputs that we get about our service and where there might be a lack of clarity about responsibilities. So that's why only the customer signature is needed. The first question about the deadline, we still believe that it's a better service agreement, and we were planning on making another push for people to sign it. But with these DSS changes coming through, what we've decided is that actually there's just a lot of uncertainty for people at the moment. And the last thing that we want is, for anyone feeling under any kind of stress or uncertainty in relation to DSS changes coming through, which we know will, there's lots in there that people might feel uncertain of. We don't want to put any additional pressure on people to sign something if they're not comfortable. So, we encourage you to sign it. We think it's a clearer document. The support that we provide to you is no different. Literally, we don't treat people differently whether they've signed it or not. So we encourage you to sign it, but we're not going to put pressure on you to sign it if you're uncomfortable.
Simon speaking. Thank you very much, Ellen. This one here's an interesting suggestion from Catherine. She says, can Manawanui talk to DSS regarding first aid certificate discounts for Manawanui's customers' carers?
That is a really interesting suggestion. I'm going to take that away and think about it. We might not need to talk to DSS about that. We might be able to work directly with a training provider to get a discount for our customers. So we're definitely interested in opportunities like that to get discounts for you guys to make your funds go further. So yeah, really appreciate that suggestion actually. And if anyone else has any, we'll be looking at what are the things that people quite often want to use their funding for. We have an aspiration to make funds go further by working with providers to apply discounts. So that might be a little bit further down the track, but I think it's a fantastic idea.
Simon speaking. Yeah, no, it's important that we recognize that other organisations recognise that individualised funding users are a significant portion of the community, and yeah, they can definitely have opportunities to work with us to create value for both sides, I guess you could say it. Tracy says, where can I find information about these service agreements mentioned in today's discussion?
Alan speaking. Simon, I'm going to pass that one to you actually. It's the holder of all things service agreement.
Simon speaking. So there is information in previous newsletters that would be dating back quite a while now to earlier in the year. And all of the information that we've already shared is also within the first stages of the online service agreement signing process, if that makes sense. So if you are looking for information, you could contact our CEC team and they could resend you the link to start the journey to sign an agreement. You won't, be making any commitments until you finish with the signed document, so you could make your way through it. But the first page has an introduction to the whole process, and it explains why we've created the new agreement, and then also a really easy to understand summary of the changes, and clarifies things about our responsibilities versus you as the customer. And I'd say that's probably the easiest way. We don't have it on like our website or portal as a static page. The best place, Tracy, would be for you to go for our customer experience team, and they can send you that information.
Alan speaking. So it would be in your email box from many months ago, but as Simon said, definitely probably the easiest way for you to read the new service agreement is to make contact.
Simon speaking. Yes, thanks, Alan. Lords says, thanks for your clarification, Alan. It would have been nice to have that have been informed of the removal of your signatory when it was done. It was an unpleasant surprise, I must say.
Alan speaking. Really sorry if that was a surprise, and particularly if it was unpleasant. We do definitely try and communicate anything that we're changing, but it sounds like we might have missed a step there. So apologies for that.
Yeah, Simon speaking here, just to reiterate, we thought we'd focus on what was changing around the wording and clauses, but yes, unfortunately missed the fact that there was a signature missing from it, and yes, unfortunately didn't include that as part of the information as what's changed. Just looking to see if there's any other questions. We've still got a few minutes left, so plenty of time to send through your questions. But I have an update, if you don't mind, Alan, while we wait to see what else comes through. We have a competition that we need the help of the Manawanui customers to be the judges. Some of the teams here at Manawanui have taken it incredibly seriously with decorating their desk spaces into the Christmas theme. It is incredibly impressive, I must say. Some of the teams have put in quite a lot of effort outside of their normal day job. I must say a lot of the decorating went down in the evenings and weekends. But there are some impressive decorations in the office, and we're going to put it to a customer vote. So photos will be going up on our social media tomorrow, I believe, and the voting will be open for a few days. You're going to select the team that you think has done the best job, and whichever team gets the most votes from you over social media will be the winners. There is no prize except for knowing that you are the best team at decorating. There's no money or gifts. It is just purely for the ability to gloat and have the bragging rights for another year. So yeah, please keep an eye out for those posts over the next day. Maid Pearl, apologies if I've got that name wrong, has a question. Where does everything stand with our funding for resources? For example, I'm blind and I need more resources. I would love for you, Maid Pearl, if you could please just clarify or just give some examples of what resources you mean, and we could probably have a better job at answering your question. But Alan, is there anything you can offer in the meantime?
Without knowing what kind of resources you're needing, it's a bit hard to advise. What I can say is that DSS have been really clear with us that nothing has changed yet in terms of what's allowable or not allowable based on the purchasing guidelines. So we do all unfortunately need to wait until 1 April next year to have that flexibility that we're all really looking forward to. So purchasing guidelines as they currently are do still apply, no changes in that space. And of course for Health New Zealand customers, other customers, no changes signalled at all in future.
Simon speaking. Thank you, Alan. Tracy says, no prize? There has to be a prize. And Ashley says, or a trophy. So let's hold that thought. We may have to organise a trophy of some description to award to the winning team. So keep an eye out for that. Thank you, JP, for this question. I'm sure many people will be wanting to know what dates are timesheets due over the Christmas and New Year. Now, I'm very happy to say that there are no changes to your submission deadlines. That is because the payments team do now work through public holidays. Some of them do, so it means that we don't lose those days to processing completely. So if your fortnight ends this Sunday the 21st, please submit by midnight Monday, and you will be paid on Tuesday for self-managing and Wednesday for payroll. But because Thursday and Friday is Christmas Day and Boxing Day, our payments will not be going out for any late submissions. So self-managing and payroll, there won't be any late processing timesheets or claims those days. That's why it's really important to get them in on time, because over this holiday period, the ability to process late timesheets has reduced significantly. And then the second fortnight, so if it finishes next Sunday on the 28th, submit by Monday the 29th, and you will be paid on Tuesday or Wednesday if you are self-managing or payroll respectively. And then from that point onward, we're back into, gosh, it's scary to say, but a whole brand new year, 2026, and we're away again. While we're talking about it, the phone lines will be offline on all public holidays, so you won't be able to get through. And on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, we will be closing the phones a little bit early, just after midday at 1. That is to ensure that the teams can jump in and help with processing, and that all of our teams are able to head home early enough to celebrate the holidays with their family as well. So just be mindful that those phones will be offline at those times. Excuse me. Made Pearl says, when it comes to things like accessible technology and screen readers, so I guess it's those sort of purchases.
Alan speaking. So the purchasing guidelines are a bit strict on equipment. They have said that equipment needs to come from the Equipment Management Service, or Enable. But there is still some cases in which we can fund equipment through IEF. So we do recommend that you submit the details of what the item is that you need and the reason that you need it. And we will do everything that we can to find a way to support you with that. Unfortunately, if it's outside the purchasing guidelines at present, you might need to wait until April next year to be able to go outside our current purchasing guidelines.
I'm speaking. Thanks, Ellen. So for Made Pearl in the immediate, I would encourage you to find exact examples of some of the equipment you'd like to purchase. If you can send through either a link to the website, or however it is easy enough for you, with your vision, to provide us with a quote, an example of the item and how much it may cost, and then the description of how it relates to your disability and what barrier it addresses, and how it can fit the full purchasing rules. Then we, as Alan said, we will do everything we can to assess it against those criteria and hopefully approve it if possible. Tracy says, the problem with Enable is that not all of us are eligible for Enable. I would hope that if you aren't in the Enable region, then the other equipment provider is it Access Able, I think, for the other part of the country. But yeah, hopefully you would fit into their eligibility criteria for equipment.
Yep, Alan speaking. DSS is also responsible for the Equipment Management Service. Everyone should be eligible for some kind of equipment management service, regardless of where you are around the country. Your NASC should be able to advise you on which one you have access to. And if you can't get sort of guidance from your NASC about where you should be going, then you can contact DSS directly at their main info line. I think it's info@dss.govt.nz, and they should be able to let you know which service you should look for.
Simon speaking. Thank you, Alan. Just conscious of time, so let's wrap things up. Made Pearl, you need to email your information through to our CEC email address. If you are more comfortable talking on the phone, then please call us first and they will give you all of the instructions. But if you've emailed us for help prior, please use that address, give us all the information we need to make the decision, and then we will get back to you as soon as we can. Victoria says, thank you for organising an NZSL interpreter for this live meeting. If you've not been around for longer, we have had a live stream interpreter since these began back in early 2020. We've had an interpreter for every live stream session unless somebody has been unavailable. So yeah, we are very accessible here on the live stream front. But it is time to bid you farewell for 2025. We will not be slowing down, not be stopping completely, but our live streams and newsletter updates will end this week. But the Manawanui organisation will continue on over the Christmas break, so we'll still be here to support you. Firstly, I would just like to say thank you all again for an amazing year at Manawanui. It's a privilege to have this role and to be able to engage with you all and provide support in a way that I know makes a difference to you all. Please enjoy whatever break you are able to get over the current break. If you're meeting up with family you don't see often, please try to be cordial to each other and enjoy the company. I look forward to seeing you all again in the new year for another wonderful year at Manawanui. So that is it from me for 2025. Over to you, Ellen.
Ellen speaking. Ka kite anō. Have a wonderful break. As Simon said, we do still have folks here to support you, but we encourage all of you to enjoy as much of a break as you can over that period, as most of our staff will be as well. And take care of yourselves. Be safe.
Simon speaking. Thank you, Ellen. Yes, have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful Christmas, New Year's break, whatever holidays you celebrate, and we will see you in 2026. Ka kite.